Okay, welcome back once again. We're here for our next interview as part of the build up to Rival Battles 3. For this one, I'm joined by Seahawks and I'm joined by Gus to look ahead to their hunting SA2 matchup that we're going to be seeing on the card on April 28th. Seahawks, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. My tournament run just ended, but I finished fourth place in this entire I guess qualifier, and I'm looking forward to Summit.
Yeah, definitely all locked in now, and I think everybody's pretty impressed with how you've done. And
For sure.
yeah, best of luck to you in that summit. And Gus, how about you? How are you feeling on this fine April day?
I'm feeling pretty good. Just yeah.
Pretty good. Up to much? Doing anything? Enjoying life?
I'm just watching the tournament right now.
Yeah,
That's true. We're
basically.
doing this right as Talon and Emerald are facing off, so we'll try not to take up too much time because I'm sure we all want to get back to that HST goodness. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about what we've got coming up. So you two facing off against each other in a hunting matchup. It's going to be the first hunting that we're going to have on Rival Battles, unless you want to count Knuckles' story, but you know. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about each of your sort of history with hunting as a whole, because neither of you started off as hunters. Not a lot of people really do. But Seahawks, to ask you first, obviously you have kind of been a hero runner from the start, and like
Mhm.
hunting is obviously a part of that. But
Right.
past a certain point, it kind of goes beyond it. What kind of led you to beginning to want to push your hunting a bit further, beginning to want to maybe delve into a bit more sort of deep
Well,
things, knowledge, and whatnot?
well, how I started hunting was that I was like learning the game. I was just doing some hero stages, and I told myself, I want to learn a hunting stage. And so I just like picked up a hunting stage. I didn't I think it might be Aquatic Mines, like my first hunting stage.
Mm-hmm.
Found it, did some times 20 speed runs in it. Found this really fun. Decided to do it for like every other stage, as I was learning the game. And I figured, if if I'm learning the game, learn the Sonic and Tail stages, I might as well learn all the hunting pieces well, at least to a comfortable extent.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it worked out pretty well. I progressed pretty fast in the hero boards, and then eventually I what was it? I met up with Hedera, Gus, and Zephyr. We were all doing like our Rouge Senti races and whatnot. That's where I decided to like take hunting way more seriously. Decided to finally pick up some confirmed scent knowledge or 50-50 knowledge. And I'd say it worked out pretty well. I decided to go back and beat some of those times 20 or times 25 times, for Knuckles and Rouge. And I think I made myself as a established hunter for sure.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And I know sort of within that learning process, there was a goal that you had to get threshold in every hunting stage, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Mm. And that
Like I
took a
remember
little.
like Death Chamber. Yeah, Death Chamber was like the one that was like my last one. Well, I did enjoy the stage. It was just tough because
Mm.
like I guess like the lowest threshold for that stage was pretty hard to get in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Like just getting that lowest threshold was like, I did it. I finally completed the goal.
Yeah, for sure. And
And
speaking of
then
goals, when it
yeah,
comes to hunting for you right now, is there anything that you kind of have in terms of goals? Is there anything
I
with any stage that you'd
I
want
want
to
to
push
see if I
further
could
forward?
push for like top 10 for like all the hunting categories by the end of the year. Right
Yeah,
now, I got Death Chamber and Mad Space, if I recall. I could look on the leaderboards right now.
yeah, definitely be
But
something to strive for there. That's for sure. Obviously, some
oh,
tough
for
ones there.
sure, yeah. But I got like the tough ones out of the way,
Mm.
so I'm pretty happy with that.
Oh, well, hey, cool to hear. And then for you, Gus, why don't you talk a little bit about sort of how you ended up? Because you kind of came onto the scene in one of the Hero Story tournaments, right? You kind of were a newcomer,
Yeah,
and
it was
then
like Hero Story Tournament 2021 is when I
Mhm.
like started running the game, and like I was bad because you start the game out, you're bad.
yeah,
But like I just kind of saw like I saw like a lot of people like messing up their hunting stuff. I was like, you know what? I want to like not do that. I just want to like make
uh,
that part work and then figure everything else out later.
mhm.
And I did that
And now here we
to a
are.
degree. Well, yeah. Like I was always competent at hunting, like pretty early on.
Mhm.
But it was again similar to Seahawks. How one day I was just reading the SA2 Discord, and they were having a Roost race, It was Zephyr and Hedera at the time. Might have been someone else too. But I'm like, yo, I'll join. And so we just dragged me to the Discord. We just did the race, and that's when we were just doing these races. I just got really good at hunting, just very suddenly.
Mm. Yeah, because you've got some. So speaking about where your sort of prior speedrun history is it Fantasy Star? I think.
Yeah. So I did start. Okay, my earliest speedrunning was actually Sadix.
All
I
right.
did run Knuckles Story in like 2018.
Oh, really? Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
I've
didn't
seen your
have
name on the
like
board. Actually, that's right.
yeah, I didn't have a laptop that really was like good enough to really like record things properly at the time, so I just kind of left it be for a while.
Mhm.
And
And
then
so eventually.
in like 21, I finally got another good laptop, so I was just like, yo, I can start speedrunning again. So speedrun PSO, speedrun Statics again, speedrun SA2, and Jet Set Radio 2. But
Yeah, that's right. I thought there was some Jet Set
yeah,
Radio in there somewhere.
yeah, it's just been a pretty fun experience, and like it's not as new anymore. It's been a couple of years now, but
Yeah, definitely.
it's just fun thing to do.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
interesting that sort of whereas obviously Seahawks has kind of pushed and pushed in like the story categories. You've kind of I wouldn't say like completely avoided them, but you've definitely sort of focused more on the hunting side of things, right? So
Yeah, that's definitely true. Like I feel like most of my Hero Story, Dark Story pushes are during tournament seasons.
mhm.
Like I don't really play much outside of those.
No, yeah,
But like hunting, I just kind of do often, just in
hmm
general.
yeah. And so, what's kind of like drawn you to it, really? What exactly is it about hunting that you kind of
I
get in the
mean,
zone with?
it's just, I guess to start out, it was just kind of a thing that I could get good at faster
Mhm.
because like I find the hunting movement to be a lot easier to get into than the Sonic movement or the neck movement to a degree.
Hmm. Yeah, I can get that.
Um, and so like got that, and then once I just kind of had the movement, had the pieces, and everything, it's just how satisfying it is to like take sets you've seen and just do them faster than you did before.
Yeah, in fact,
Like,
actually, literally going into this interview, we literally just had a moment where Emerald got a set on stream, and you're like, "Oh, hang on, this 100% confirms."
Nice.
And I was just like, "Okay, I know what I'm dealing with
yeah,
here." So
but
yeah,
just even just like the sense of anticipation, just like, yo,
mm,
I know generally where this is, or I know exactly where this is. Like, it just lets you move better. Like, you just more direct. It's just really satisfying to get right.
yeah, definitely. And like I asked Seahawks there, obviously about like goals. You've unless I'm mistaken, you've done something Seahawks hasn't, and that's you've gotten a world record in the hunting category before. Uh,
Yes, I also technically have one too. I have Security Hall Dreamcast, which is kind of
yeah,
funny.
we'll count it.
Oh,
We'll
you know
count
what? I
it.
forgot that was a category. So okay, I might change my goal. Top 10 in all the hunting categories except for that because I don't have a dream pass.
But
But
yes,
yeah,
I did
no.
have world record in Mad Space,
Hmm.
and I'm still currently second. I actually am occasionally grinding it still.
Yeah, I was going to
Like
ask,
I
is there
got,
any like goals to like kind of maybe go back to something like that or any other stage?
yeah, I am still grinding for world record Mad Space. I'm like
Hmm.
12 seconds off now. Um, aside from that, I mean, I guess we'll see when we get there. But like, I want, okay, I want the drum sweep.
The drums,
Sure.
what, Bob Drum and
Specifically,
everyone?
in literally every category, yeah, for hunting. I just figure like that's a very like he's a very good just runner in general.
Yeah,
It's just a
definitely.
good threshold to beat.
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
I'm like I don't know within a minute of Rusanti, I think somewhere there. So
Ah, well, there you go. Hey, we got goals on the table. I'm liking what I'm hearing. But
I will say
bringing it,
this though,
go
Dev
on.
Chamber, you're gonna have. It's gonna be a bit of a challenge for sure because he used to be
That,
the world
yeah, that's
record holder
true.
for that stage.
okay, well maybe the Rouge sweep first, but we'll see.
Okay.
But yeah, bringing it back. So obviously we mentioned it a little bit there about sort of like how things got started. But obviously, as we mentioned, you two and a couple of others have kind of competed alongside each other for a fair little bit now. Much to Verify's dismay for a while there. You guys have kind of like come into the public eye, I guess, as that little group of hunters who sort
Right.
of race alongside each other. When it comes to sort of
Right.
specifically you two, what's it kind of been like, sort of in terms of going up against each other, in terms of rivalry? Obviously, I guess Mad Space is the stage you two are closest in, but just generally
Right.
speaking, what's it been like for you, Seahawks, last first going up against Gus in these races and just generally?
I think it's sick because like it's funny how like a Rusenti, right, from the beginning of 2022, just like
Mm,
connected like me, Zeth, and Hedera. Like we all talked like, well, I guess like beforehand, like I talked to Gus the least because like I never, I never really see him talk like often like the SC2 Discord. But
mm,
like Hedera and Zeth, I definitely talked to for sure, like in text because like we're like kind of story runners or like IL runners,
mm.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like just having like these Rusenti like connect us. It's like not only just to have fun with like these like Rusenti races, but have us become like good friends is just something I'll always like treasure for sure.
Oh,
It's like yeah, like that, and like just going up against Gus for sure. Like like at least like a homie. Like as a lot of people refer to us as like the Chungus hunters,
mm.
right? It's just awesome to like do this like live on like the States of Rivals thing for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely, definitely. And Gus, the same question to you then, really. So, like, what's it been like going up against Seahawks, just as a competitor and also as sort of a budding rival, I guess?
I mean, pretty similar. Like like it's just very fun, just like to experience the game with people and like like we're all like doing the same thing and just kind of like
Mm,
because hunting is so like like in the moment, like it changes every bit, and
mm.
just like we're all like giving each other new ideas, finding new strategies, clips, everything like that,
Yeah,
and just
definitely.
sharing them with one another. It's very satisfying. Um, and like as far as like running with times, like I've always been trying to like keep my times ahead of Seahawks.
Mm.
I have
That's the goal.
not been able to do it perfectly, unfortunately, but
Yeah, I still got you beating Dry Lagoon and Death Chamber
yeah,
and
for
Wild
now.
Canyon.
Oh yeah, that one too.
What's that
Gross.
make the score? What's that? That's five
It's
for
like
Six
Gus.
to three.
What's that? 6-3,
5.
yeah?
Yeah, 6-3.
Technically 8-3 if we count Sentis, right?
Oh yeah, I guess we
That's
do
a,
count the
that's a good
Sentis.
So
score. That's a
yeah,
decent score, you know? If we're
Yeah,
going
yeah,
into
for
this,
sure. Oh
I
yeah.
don't
Oh
know,
wait,
that,
so then oh yeah, so it'll be 4-9 then. No, 4-6. No, 4-7.
we're doing a lot of
Yeah, because we're
numbers
counting
here.
Sentis. Yeah.
But
4-7.
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
like
because
you
I
say
got
there,
Knuckles.
um,
Yeah. Right.
one of the cool things being, and like something that I've kind of envied from the outside looking at you guys, um, definitely is true about sort of like having multiple people running the same thing alongside you really adds to it, the experience and kind
Mhm.
of the motivation. So,
Hmm.
like, yeah, it's been cool seeing you all kind of like continue to push each other as well as yourselves. So that's always been something that's really
Exactly.
cool. And
Actually, I remember. Oh,
mhm.
my bad.
No, go on.
I remember my first Rue Centurion, right? It was
Mhm.
like over 2 hours or something like that. I didn't know where like any of the pieces are for like Rue stages because
Mhm.
like Zeth or Hedera and like Gus were like, "Come on, do a Rue Centurion with us." I was like, "I don't know where any of the pieces are." It's like, just do it. It'll be fun." I was like, "Oh, okay." And despite how long that took, actually that was actually quite fun. And then I guess I just went from there. Just like decided to learn like the individual stages, and then just ended up putting up some pretty good times on like the brew stages.
Mm. And now here we are. But let's
Yeah,
talk a little
exactly.
bit about what the approach is like, really, because hunting is an interesting one, right? Obviously, there's that luck
Hmm.
factor to it. But generally, with races, Seahawks, you've definitely had a little bit more experience lately. What's your approach going in, really? Like, how do you feel, sort of like nerves wise? How do you practice? What are you kind of like when it comes to you've got a match coming up? What's your sort of method going in?
I just stay calm, like play the best I could, just similar to like Hero Story and Dark
Hmm.
Story. Well, I guess like the one Dark Story and G Plus tournament I was in. Like I think I have like pretty good amount of race experience to the point where like I think like my tournament nerves are kind of like gone.
Mm.
And I did say that, but yet like I did have like tournament nerves coming into like this qualifier. But
You
I
nervous of
think like
Gus?
they're eviscerated. But I guess
You got
there's a
any?
difference
You,
between tournament nerves and race nerves.
yeah. You got any nerves about Gus?
A little bit. I do know that like he is better than me at like the root stages for sure, but hopefully I'm able to keep up with him for sure. I think
Yeah,
it's gonna be a pretty interesting race.
yeah, definitely. And Gus, the same question to you then, really, because obviously, as we said, maybe not quite the same amount of races under your belt as Seahawks has, but for you, what's it like going into anything like this? Is it kind of chilled out, or do you kind of like you practicing,
I mean,
you work by candlelight?
I'm pretty like relaxed for the most part about races. Like,
Hmm.
I get a little in my head when I'm messing stuff up, but like, I know it's just how I am with just the game. Like, I'm gonna mess things up anyway. Like, it is what it is. I
Yeah.
just try to keep my head straight, keep going. With hunting in particular, I really try not to change things up too much. Like when it comes to racing,
Mhm.
like I know what I can do. Like, yes, there might be like more safe strategies I can pick for races in particular, but like I don't want to like get into my head too much and think too much about what to do.
Yeah,
I just kind of
consistency.
want to just execute, get the stages done as fast as possible, and move on.
Mm.
Because that's the best way to get fast times, really.
Yeah, on paper, definitely so. Go fast and you'll go fast.
One of the things I found interesting about hunting is that there are so many ways to get good at hunting alone. Like you could either just focus on like the sheer movement or just like navigate the stage like well enough, or you could just like pick up some sets, decide to like study up on them a bit.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
when you occur to that set, you would be like, oh, I know this set, and then you get the set and you pop off and like and then go from there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
100%.
even then, like there are just so many ways, like different ways to play the same sets.
Right, yeah.
Like sometimes people use different clips. Sometimes people use death strats when other people wouldn't. Like stuff like that. Like some people take
Mhm.
pieces other people wouldn't. Like I do
Mhm.
that a lot.
Right.
But I think it's all very interesting.
Yeah, without a doubt. And so let's talk a little bit about you versus each other. Let's compare what we got on the table here. Gus, if I was to say to you, what are the strengths that you've got over Seahawks? What are the edges that are gonna put this race in your hand? What would you tell me that they are?
Everything. I'm going to smash Seahawks.
Hey oh, whoa, moving mad. Nah, but like in terms of sort of like particular stages, in terms of sort of like how you approach hunting as a whole, what do you think you have that Seahawks doesn't?
um, I don't know. I take the proper hints in Mad Space.
That is true. That is true.
I think I like react to my pieces a bit faster in general, but like
Hmm.
it is what it is. Like hunting, there's just a random element of randomness to it, no matter what. Like it could go either way, for
I
sure.
think I think one thing
Mm,
you have it over me is set knowledge.
I mean,
Also,
yeah, you say that, but that's like mostly Mad Space. I'm not gonna
that's
lie.
fair.
I don't really know that much outside of Mad Space.
That's fair.
and then Seahawks, same question too. What do you think you've got that'll give you the edge over Gus?
Well, I in Death Chamber is one stage, and I think I have like sheer movement over
Yeah.
Gus because like I think like Gus is like definitely knows more sets than me for like most of the stages, but like I think for me I just have like sheer movement, kind of like
Mm,
cryptic.
mm. And would you
I
say
mean, you say
cryptic as a
that,
yeah? Go on.
but I did get that minute-long hintless Death Chamber. That was pretty good.
Oh, sure, man. That minute long death chamber, hitless death chamber.
I'm not that much of a slouch on that stage.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the format as well, because obviously not sort of our traditional hunting category. This it's going to be sort of like a com- competitive rule set, stage striking kind of thing. Um,
Yeah, so it's
Yes.
like a 5x5 race where we'd run
mhm,
5 repetitions of 5 different stages that we pick from like a sort of a band, like pick band kind of style type thing.
mhm.
Um, there's like a wheel that picks the first stage, and then we like pick and band from there.
Yeah, so it's player one. Remind me how it is, because like there's two different rule sets that we've come up with. We've had one which is
I
kind of
think
more balanced between Knuckles and Rouge, and one which is kind of just hunting general.
I think our rule set was like we have a wheel that picks a stage, and then I think pick a stage. I had to remember. I had to ask like other people like how it works because it's
I
been
think
so long since we
it's like
discussed this.
player one picks a stage, player two picks two stages, something like that. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Don't
Yeah.
worry
we'll
about
figure
it.
it out.
But I mean, hey, you mentioned Cryptic there, actually, and one thing
Yeah.
that's interesting, obviously, is you know, we got hunting on the table here.
Mhm.
When it comes to hunting, it goes without saying Cryptic's the guy, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
Absolutely.
but you know, you are also the guys. You know, you guys are the hunters,
Exactly.
the strongest hunters. You know, so if I was to say to you, sort of about, obviously we got rival battles, we got the title belts. You know, a
Mhm.
potential maybe looking further into the future here, but in terms of how far you want to go with hunting, with maybe these competitive types of races, would like a title bout against someone like Cryptic be something that interests either of you? Would that be something that you'd kind of maybe
Oh, for
strive
sure.
towards
Yeah.
if things go well here?
For
That
sure.
would
Yeah.
be very cool.
I'll,
Or like even like some
yeah,
other
go on.
people like Epi. Like Epi is so good
Epi.
now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
Or
Mm.
Hedera, but
or even like near Volcanion. Like
near Wild Canyon.
Yeah, this
we've
is the
got
cool
quite a
thing about
handful of
hunting.
heavy hitters now.
Yeah, and that's cool to see how hunting has kind of like developed because obviously in the past you've kind of got like your classic names from like far back, like Ed Bottle, Axel, and all that. Um,
Right.
Tommy.
but then for a while there, it was kind of obviously there were names in there, like I know Drum was doing it, Tommy and
Mhm.
Cryptic and all that, but it wasn't, you know, it was kind of a handful, you know. But now it's kind of developed, and each stage has got their own little batch. So yeah, definitely cool to see. And so yeah, if we were going to see, I don't know, you know, we've talked about like what would be the best matchup because as we said, Cryptic is kind of still, you know, the pillar of it all. But
Right. Yeah.
if we were to see like Epi against Cryptic and something, that could be something interesting for sure.
That would be interesting for
That would
sure.
be very fun.
Hmm. We'll find out. We'll find out. You know, we've you know, Seahawks. You've got a Gus to beat first, and Gus, you've got a Seahawks to beat. So
It's true.
we'll wait for that one. But let's talk about anything on this card that we've got right now. Obviously, got 7 matches in total, 6 others apart from yourselves. Is there anything that you're kind of looking forward to? Anything that you've seen on the card that's going to catch your eye that you want to tune into? Obviously, you guys are the only SA2 match on this, which is kind of cool considering it's a hunting match.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Or-
I'll ask Seahawks first.
um, I, I guess unsure.
No, have you
I
not
can't.
seen the match? Have you not seen the card?
I guess I
yeah, you should.
haven't.
Do you
No.
have the card to post somewhere?
It
Yeah.
is in event announcements. I will fetch it
Announcements.
for you
Event
now.
and okay.
Actually, hang
Oh,
on.
I
Let
see it
me
now.
get. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, I see it. Um. Hmm. I guess Deku versus Kentrell for Sonic Heroes because I did like watching Deku play Sonic Heroes. Not gonna lie, when he was very active in it.
Mm. Yeah, Kentrell's kind of bounced back onto the scene and taken the world record, which is an interesting one for sure. Definitely going to be cool seeing those
Interesting.
two face off.
Yeah, sounds
And
very exciting.
then,
I would honestly like Spacebar Scoop Gamma.
mm,
That sounds really fun.
yeah,
Oh wait, I
space.
forgot about that. Actually, oh, I didn't see that actually. So yeah, that actually sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's our second time having Gamma's story on here, and Scoob coming off the back beating Mimic, and Spacebar's kind of gone on a bit of a CAG tour, if you know what I mean. He beat who did he beat? He beat Nim and Knuckles. He beats Pasta and Amy, and now he's looking to complete the trilogy and beat Scoob. So
For
gonna be an
sure.
interesting one. I'm liking the look of Venom versus Napborn in Tails' story personally. I think that one's gonna be pretty cool. But it's nice how
Yeah.
we've got like this side of Sadix and then just like everything else. But
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
yeah, it's cool because this is going to be the first rival battles that's going to have at least one match from every game. So welcome Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, that's actually true.
But do I ask any of you for predictions for any of these matches? Anything that you're kind of banking on?
Um, I guess I don't really know the other speed games well to even make a prediction, so
No, that's
yeah.
true. That's fair. What about you, Gus, with your extensive Sadex knowledge?
Uh, Venom.
Venom
He's gonna
versus
win,
Natborn. It's set in stone. Gus called it.
and that's my only prediction.
What about Seahawks versus Gus? Who wins?
Oh, me.
Alrighty, well there you go. But this is another thing I like to ask people who come on here. If I was to say to you, so we've got like rival battles here, right? Let's say rival battles 4 or 5 or anything further in the future. You get to pick one match. You get any category, any game, any 2 runners. Who do you want to see go up against each other? I'll ask you first, Gus.
There, Divu. Dark Story.
We already had that.
You've seen that though.
That
You
won't
want the
stop
rematch?
me. Yeah.
Adara Divu 2. It could happen,
Yeah.
you know? It could happen. Any given day, those two can go up against each other and it will probably be entertaining. But come on. Let's spice it up a little bit. Come on, Gus. You know, I know you got creativity in that rainbow-shaped Zephyr badge-looking brain of yours.
Okay. Uh, let's do
Drum Basher versus Adara.
Drum Basher.
Do you want me to come back to you? Should I ask
Nim?
Seahawks this?
Nim versus what I'm spacing his name.
Space Bar?
No.
Because we had
The
that
other
one
guy
too.
is not Spacebar. It's Dreamcast. The guy who ran on Dreamcast.
Hip?
Hip, yes. Yes,
We
him.
already had that as well.
But you did? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
we had the Dreamcast special.
Me when I pay attention.
Do you want me to come back to you? Shall I ask Seahawks?
You go for Seahawks.
Alright, Seahawks. Any dream matchup for you?
Well, I was thinking of an Aura versus Deku matchup. Like I don't know like a game or category, but
Yeah, you
because I know
probably pick
those
a
two have
few.
been rivals. I know they've been rivals for like years, so like I know that those are the matches they're gonna definitely like gonna live up to the hype.
Aura versus Deku sounds like a face-off. Could definitely
Yeah.
happen. Anything
Yeah,
else?
any given game for really for like heroes or SA2 or I guess colors. But that's
That'd be
the
interesting.
colors is
Maybe,
like a not
maybe,
yeah.
maybe April Fools next year. We'll find out.
Yeah.
That would be really funny, actually, if we had like a rival battles April Fools and just get a bunch of non-Sosa games.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
I guess the Emerald and SMB because I know those two have been rivals for like Hero Story tournament. And there was like a period where like I know Emerald hasn't beat SMB and then like I guess HST 22, that's where Emerald was awakened.
Yeah, definitely. And so, Gus, do we have our answer?
No. I've answered that, unfortunately.
You know, what if we just do like an April Fools of like a 180? So we'll just do like, I guess like Trader and Talon like 180 race for rival battles.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
That would be wild.
I mean, we definitely could.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, we had the Dreamcast race, which was like 5 hours long, so
Oh,
you know,
Lord. Okay.
just add a bit of chow on the end and we're fine. So yeah, no, that's kind of wrapped things up here, I think, in terms of questions to ask. So I guess the final thing I would like to ask you both is, do you have a final message for your opponent before we sign off? I'll ask you, Gus. Do you have anything to say to Seahawks before we face off on April 28th?
Yeah, stop resetting Dancing Wooden Box.
And anything from you, Seahawks? Any last words to Gus? Any last
good
words,
luck.
Seahawks?
Good luck. Yeah, just good luck.
Sounds like a scared man to me.
Good luck to you two, Seahawks.
Yeah, of course.
Well, we look forward to it. Hopefully, going to be a real banger of a match, as well as a whole host of other great matches coming up on April 28th when we see Rival Battles 003. But yeah, we'll be back soon with some more interviews. Hopefully, going to be getting a couple of those in before we reach the promised day. But yeah, no. Thank you both for hopping on here. Been a pleasure again. Hope you go out and enjoy the rest of your nights now, and look forward to a grand final, which is coming up right now. Actually, in fact, we're going to raid on into that from the
Let's
Station Sides account.
go.
But yeah, no, thank you very much, gamers, for hopping in, and we will see you both very soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us here, actually.
No worries. All right then, gamers. We'll see you around. Take care.